Hello guys, welcome to my channel. Please like and subscribe and share for viewing new videos related to the subject social means civics, geography and history part. So today I have chosen a topic as a resources which is completely related to the geography part. So let's move to that. So resources. What are resources? And they have a utility to fulfill human needs. So resources are those substances which have a utility, means which have a capacity to fulfill the human needs, not only to fulfill the human needs as well as to make the human life more comfortable, more luxurious. So these are the benefits of resources. So we will now move to the different parts of, means the classification of resources. So on the basis of exhaustibility, on the basis of origin, on the basis of stock and on the basis of distribution, the resources can be classified into different parts. So let's move on in the description about on the basis of exhaustibility. The first one, on the basis of exhaustibility. On the basis of exhaustibility, there are two resources which are renewable resource and second one is non-renewable resource. So now we'll move on to the renewable resources. As by the name we can understand the renewable. It means that can be renewed, reused. Okay, so the resources that can be renewed itself if once we use them, so that is something as a renewable resources like geothermal energy, wind energy, biomass energy, solar energy and more. Non-renewable resources is the second type on the basis of exhaustibility. The resources that cannot be renewed after excessive use, means if once they get exhausted then they cannot be renewed, they cannot be replenished itself, like natural gas, fossil fuels like coal and petroleum and more. Let's move to the description. Biomass energy, geothermal energy, hydrogen power, wind energy, solar energy, all of these energy are the example of renewable resource, means they can renew itself if they get exhausted. Then we have non-renewable resource. Non-renewable resource means once if they get exhausted, they cannot replenish itself, they cannot renew it itself, like fossil fuels, then natural gas, coal, nuclear, and etc. Now we'll move to the on the basis of origin. So on the basis of origin, there are also two types of resources in this also. First is biotic, then another one is abiotic. So, biotic resources means the living things, the living organisms are only considered as a biotic resource. Means all the organism present on this earth is considered as a biotic resource. Then we have abiotic resource. Abiotic resource means the non-living materials, non-living things are considered as a abiotic resource. Now let's understand by the picture. So, the classification of natural resources on the basis of origin. So, they are classified into two parts, which are biotic and abiotic. So, let's move on to the description of this biotic. Those we get from the Earth's biosphere is something called as biotic. And then we can obtain these biotic substances in the raw form also or by the help of cultivation also, like we get petroleum by the mining, oil mining, we can get mineral, then we have natural gas, wood, fruits, vegetables which can be grown through the cultivation one. So they can be obtained in the raw form, either in the raw form or by the cultivation process. Now let's move to the abiotic. Abiotic means that minerals, metals and other non-living material, like we can say we have salt, we have gold, we have silver, diamond, etc. and more are there. Okay, some renewable resources are wind and tidal energy, water, air, sunlight, plants and vegetation. So here in abiotic it is also written that some of the renewable resources are also considered as a abiotic resource, like we have said that wind, also tidal energy, then water, air, sunlight, plants and vegetation. Different are there which is considered as a abiotic, but plants are considered as a biotic. Now let's move to the another one on the basis of stock. Potential resources and then actual resources. So potential resources. Potential resources, the resources whose stocks remains for the future. It means whose quantity, whose amount remains for the future use or exist in that area that may be used in the future. So something called as a potential resource. But when we talks about the actual resources, then the resources which are used by a present generation means on that area where already these resources are in use by the present generations, like we have wood processing, we have coal, petroleum, etc. So these are potential resources and actual resources. Now let's move on the basis of distribution. On the basis of distribution, there are two types of resources: ubiquitous resources, then localized resources. So ubiquitous resources means the resources which is present everywhere, means which is getting everywhere, each and every place are getting that resources. Like sunlight is present everywhere. So this is something on the basis of distribution. So this is something ubiquitous resource. Then we have water, wind, and more are there. Then we have localized resources. Localized resources means the resources which is present in a local area, means on a particular area it is present, not everywhere. Like minerals and fossil fuels are some of the example of these localized resources, means they exist only in a local area or any particular place. So let's understand by the picture. The resources that can be found everywhere, as I told, like air, we have light, we have water, and more. And localized, in localized it is written that localized are those that can be found only in certain parts of the world. So as I told that it will be present in a local area, or we can say certain parts of the world, or also we can say any particular area where it is present only in a particular area, like we have copper, iron. So all of these are considered as minerals also. And fossil fuels and thermal power plant and many more. So let's move. Thanks for this. Please share, like, and subscribe.